speaking of colors, I've heard that even the caulk that is shortage of colors in that realm too. Is that true?
That's true.
Yeah, Rob was talking caulking, right?
Exactly.
Okay, good. Yeah, he kind of caught me off guard right there. I said, "This is a family show. This is a family show, Rob."
Contractor humor. Everybody knew that we were talking about caulking.
No, I did not. My head snapped back real quick.
Oh, hell no!
Hello, everyone. This is Sonny Ordonez, and this is the Roofing Podcast number 2. And today's topic, we're going to talk about the roofing supply chain crisis. And here, always with me, is my co-host, Robert Osbrooks. How you doing?
Great.
Awesome. So, this is another milestone for us, being our second podcast. We got a special guest speaker coming on here shortly. We're going to talk about the issues that we're facing here in the roofing industry in regards to material supplies. So lots to cover, lots to talk about. And so I'm super pumped. Unlike the last episode. So, to all you folks, all you listeners and viewers, I got to apologize. You know, our first podcast really was bad. I mean, it was a fail. You know, but you know, you can't always hit a home run on the first pitch. Ain't that right?
That's right.
That's right. So, you know, it just kind of reminded me when I used to, you know, when I did my first karaoke, you know, I was real nervous, scared, you know, in front of people. And, you know, my first song that I ever sang was Prince, Kiss. And in my mind, I thought, man, I can hit those high notes. But no, didn't work out. It was a disaster. So, but now I can karaoke song anywhere, you know.
I think we should have Sonny on this podcast doing a little karaoke for us.
Hey, man, if you only knew. Hey.
Well, we can know if you show us.
So anyways, you know, I just want to first apologize, but, you know, not to give excuses, but, hey, you know, that week I just got back from vacation, all right? And my wife, she doesn't know how to rest and relaxation, you know, she doesn't do that type of gig, you know, it's just like nonstop going, we gotta go here. So we came back and I was tired and I came back sick. Then, you know, I was so excited about doing this podcast, Rob, that, you know, I don't know, have you ever not slept the day before school because you're so nervous?
Nope.
Okay, well, that's because you're not normal. But normal folks, normally they get nervous because it's the first day of school and they don't know what to expect. And, you know, that's how I felt. So all those combinations, it just was a recipe for disaster. But, hey, you know, as we do these podcasts, we want to be informative, but, you know, we want to be entertaining too. So, but with that being said, we are going to move on forward with the topic at hand. And we're going to introduce our first podcast guest, Mr. James Russel. So, Mr. James Russel, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I didn't expect the crowd to go crazy.
Oh, man. You know, you are the man, the myth. You know, James is one of our suppliers. So he's one of our favorite suppliers. We always come to him when we have issues, and he's bailed us out on a lot of things. With projects that we needed materials. So, you know, one of the issues that we're facing in this industry is the polyiso supply and demand.
Yeah.
So, give us your take, James, on you know, what's the situation going on. I mean, this is the perfect storm, so they say, and you know, a lot of it stems to, you know, it started off in 2018 with, you know, the tariffs and, you know, some of the government regulations on, you know, within the countries and and ports, and then you have COVID-19. That drove production down back in 2019, and
Right.
and it kind of diminished some of the supply chains. And then fast forward to today, the economy kind of rebounded, and the demand goes up, but the inventory's not there. It's been stressed. And then we have weather impacts. We had the freeze in 2021 this year, right, Rob? And
I think you're stealing some of James' thunder here.
oh, I'm just kind of going over some
I
things.
I was actually just about to say, that's a mic drop. Like, I think you pretty much covered it all. But no, first of all, let me thank you for having us on, or having me on. As a company, at First Distribution, we do our very best to, we work hard to partner with our valued customers, and you guys are great.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it. It's a give and take. That's what I say.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. To just add color to what you stated, some of COVID, obviously, with the shortages, or some of the manufacturers having to cut back on the amount of employees they have in a facility, whatever the case may be, that definitely drives some of the shortages we run into. Third world Texas, as I like to call it, with the freeze. That's another situation. And then you talk about the perfect storm, that coupled with hurricanes that came through and enveloped the Gulf, that also adds to that. So when you talk about mining and some of the things that go into polyiso, one of the major components is methylene, diphenol dicyclinate, MDI. It's manufactured a few places: Germany, China, Texas, and then Michigan. So Texas being one of the larger manufacturers or places that you get this compound. When Third World Texas came through, the freeze, the hurricane, all these different things, and then obviously outside of the United States, Germany, China, a lot of the situations we're having with ports being shut down and just containers being stuck out in the ocean. All of these things come together to make this shortage. And it's not a situation where, a lot of these people, or some people, have conspiracy theories that it's just a way for manufacturers to,
Man, we got the conspiracy theorists right here, man. I didn't know you were gonna drop that on us. So they call it a crisis. I like to call it a roof-pocalypse. Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness! This guy with the names and the color. My goodness.
It's pretty bad, man. When I go outside and I'm out checking up on jobs, and there's people out there trying to sell us palo iso, on the black market, man. Yeah, poly iso on the black market, man.
I mean, it's a real situation, because decking, you had OSB prices and textile prices that were going crazy, and some of it was because of that same compound being found in decking. The glue that they used to put OSB together is also, MDI. So it's affected several different avenues of construction, or different components within construction. But as far as commercial, I've never seen it like this. In my 7 years in the industry, I've never seen as long a lead time. And I hate to say it, but I don't know that they're going to get better anytime soon. I've got projects now that are into mid 2022. There's actually a manufacturer out there that has already stated they may they may not have TPO and/or they may have ISO, but they very well may not have TPO available for shipments in 2022 because they're still going to be trying to get caught up in 2021.
All right.
So I have a question. So I'm hearing that the plants are running, full speed. They're just pumping this out as fast as they can, with the product they have. But I've also heard they're not doing any taper. They're not. They're just running flat sheets. Have you heard that same story, or is that some myth?
I have from some manufacturers. There are some that are going to make tapered at a very, very limited supply. And you're absolutely right. They are putting it out as quickly as they can possibly manufacture it.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
No, I mean, it's not awesome.
Yes, that's not incorrect information.
Yeah. Right. And for our viewing audience, a lot of people don't know what we're talking about. Maybe some people do, but I have a board here with an example of what we're talking about, the polyiso. So I'm going to kind of just put this in front of the camera. So this, Rob, tell me, this is your actual installation right here, and this is a TPO. So it's just something to kind of show the viewing audience, what we're talking about and how important, polyiso is in the applications of all forms, not just in single ply, but we use it for any kind of commercial roofing construction. It's pretty much, other than even metal. Does metal use it?
Sometimes.
Yeah, they do. They'll use it under metal. It's the cleanest, most efficient form of insulation for a commercial roof right now.
And what about other materials that we use in roofing, like TPO, the single plies? How are they holding up? Are they stressed? Is this all in one package deal? As far as the
it is.
So we're having trouble getting that material as well.
Yeah, that's correct. So TPO, as you stated, single ply that goes over the top of ISO. It's also in very high ply. So that's why I was talking about just a specific manufacturer saying that they may not even be able to fill purchase orders for 2022 because they'll still be trying to get caught up in 2021.
So that was going to be my next question is, what's lead time? I mean, if we were to, we're in the beginning of fall, we were to, start some work here, traditionally, roofing companies across the board, they start slowing down during this time. But, there are some people that say, hey, I still need roofs. There's still roofs that are being put up. What if we were to put in an order today? I mean, what are we looking like, for at least polyiso?
Depending on the size of the job and if it's spec specific manufacturer, you could be into the middle of next year.
Wow. So it even moved up, because the last time I talked to you, we were talking around February. So it's even pushed even further back.
Yeah, it's gone. Wow. It's got long lead times have gotten even further out.
Wow.
So
okay.
you start. Obviously, that breeds individuals looking for alternatives. So
yeah, what are some alternatives that we can? Some of the creative solutions for us is obviously using and this is something that was kind of brought up to me recently, was using Eps Installation Boards.
Yeah.
And kind of give us a little bit of your insight on that.
So EPS, expanded polystyrene styrofoam or geofoam is another way of putting it. It's actually been around for a while. It's used in a myriad of different construction forms. It's lighter than several other insulation. It's not the same. It's not the exact same as polyiso. Obviously, there's a different chemical makeup, but it still holds R value, very much the same. You've got to have a little bit thicker geofoam to get, like an R22 or whatever the case may be. When you can generally do like a 2.2 ISO twice to get a 4-inch or, get the R value you want, you may have to do a 2-inch and then a 3-inch geofoam because it's going to have to be a little bit thicker to get that R value. And R value is the energy efficiency of any given roof. So
right, and those EPS, like polyiso, they kind of come in bundles. The way I've seen these EPS is, they're sandwiched between two cover boards or two, is that how it comes in, or how, is it easier to install, or, is it pretty much the same way that you install an ISO board?
It's pretty much the same, but yeah, you're right. There is almost like a recovery board that you want to install along with the EPS.
Both on the bottom and the top?
You don't, depending on how you're wanting to install it, you don't have to do both.
Okay.
You definitely want to have it on the top and then put your single ply over the top of it.
And what's the lead time for those if we were to place an order on something like that?
That's actually a little bit shorter. You're probably, depending on the thickness, anywhere from a month to 2 months.
So with ISO, is it just because of popularity that we have a shortage and not so much in the EPS, or are we looking at an EPS shortage as well in the future?
It's real. You could. I mean, obviously, as people start to look at that as another avenue, ISO, because it's spec on so many projects, that obviously drives that demand, which just makes it tougher to come by.
This is kind of
geofoam.
Oh, go ahead.
Say again.
I was saying, kind of off topic. I mean, what do the manufacturers think about, as more roofing companies like ourselves move to EPS, just because that's what we can get at this point in time? Do the manufacturers think they're going to lose some market share going forward once roofing companies?
To be quite frank, I don't know that they're even thinking about that.
Yeah.
As they, yeah, I mean, being full transparency, blinders on, just totally trying to get out as much material as you possibly can.
Right.
I'm not sure they're so concerned with losing market share in the future. They're just trying to fill the purchase orders that they have in the pipeline right now.
Yeah. What about fasteners for EPS? Is there any issues there?
No, it's pretty much the same.
Okay, because we've heard in the pipeline that, metal is another issue, coming across the pond. I don't know where we get metal.
That's correct.
So I don't know if that's an issue as well. So overall, this is not just a local or a state or a nation. This is on a global scale. This crisis, and it affects not just the roofing industry or the construction, but in all aspects, from automotive to just any kind of raw materials. The trucking is on demand. Air freight is gone up. Because the trains are running slower. So, another creative solution that we tend to think that we could probably remediate the situation is maybe some temporary repairs, do more recovers instead of tear outs, and maybe some liquid apply. What are we looking like in the liquid apply area? Is there still some stock there left, or is using that as an alternative?
Far and few between. The
Really?
lead times are a little bit, yeah.
Wow.
The lead times, because obviously that was one of the first things that people started kind of moving to whenever you start having, longer lead times for ISO and all that kind of business. Pourable sealers, things of that nature. just immediately started flying off the shelves.
So go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, you add another hurricane on top of it, right? Louisiana getting mauled again, and so you just have an influx of people who just start whatever is available. There's a product out there I'm not sure you're familiar with, but it's almost like a shrink wrap, right? Mm-hmm. That individuals have started buying by the truckload to be able to go and just make some of these commercial products watertight. And from what I understand, I thought it was a temporary situation, but no, they're doing it for the longevity of that roof, just overall. Really? Yeah. So I mean,
who's manufacturing that?
There's a couple of different manufacturers. I'd have to get their names. One of them is the same company that does some stuff with Hunter. But yeah, we actually sent a couple of truckloads to Louisiana for a contractor.
While I have you on the phone here, what's the story on shingles and mod bit, and just kind of where's that headed? I mean, I know things are slow on like specialty shingles, but it seems like we haven't had too much trouble getting, standard stuff. Just kind of and pricing wise too. Just what's that looking like?
So I'll start with pricing. So last year I saw 6 actual increases, the most I had seen once again in my 7 years in the industry. This year we had, if you count it from the beginning of the year to now, another 18% total of increases, with another one that's been announced by 2 separate manufacturers. We'll kind of see if that sticks. But the shingle situation, shortages of fiberglass, same thing, drove that increase, and also COVID, some of the situations we run into there. Manufacturing, Owens Corning was the first manufacturer that I saw that announced allocation, and then every other shingle manufacturer, didn't matter who they were, GAF, Malarkey, Certainty, Pepco, everybody, basically all fell in line like dominoes. There are some that have more material out now, and they're starting to kind of recover. I'm kind of hoping that, as you mentioned, Sonny, generally going into the winter, things start to kind of slow down, and some of these manufacturers can get caught up on the residential, the comp side. But there's still challenges there.
I assume that like everyone, there's probably some work shortage too, some people shortages out there.
That's correct. So you have, same thing, COVID. A lot of these manufacturers had to cut back to half staff as far as the actual manufacturing of the shingles. And then you talk about trucking and what some of that costs. The ability to have truck drivers and the shortage, basically the lack thereof, of actual truck drivers is I haven't seen anything like it. It's almost as though that next generation doesn't necessarily see that as a legitimate trade, and so you have people that are kind of phasing out, and to be able to replace that individual, the dollar amount that goes along with it is exponential. And so it's tough. It's just tough all the way around.
Yeah, that's where Elon Musk will kind of step in and do automated. We'll do away with all the truckers, and the trucks will drive themselves.
You need to play that conspiracy theory thing. Here we go. Here it comes.
So I was thinking, maybe I'll become a truck driver.
Hey, you might get a raise. Right? You might get an immediate pay raise.
I know.
So one of my friends is a truck driver, and he was telling me that I don't know if y'all been out in the highways recently, but there's a lot of trucks out there, And he was telling me that there's a shortage of 1 million job openings for truckers. That means there's room for another 1 million trucks in the United States. That's kind of boggles the mind, and there's already a lot of trucks out there. So, yeah, man. So, the big question here, and we're not going to take up too much of your time, but we're going to talk about what people always coming back to, and that's the price. And we're not going to necessarily talk details about pricing, but can you, and I know you can't forecast pricing, but maybe, give us a little bit of insight, maybe, percentage, what's the increase that, from today to maybe possibly next year, because a lot of people, they don't believe us when we say, hey, the prices are gone up. They think we're out there trying to, pull one over on them. But in the reality is it's, we have to pass that cost over. We can't eat it. So. Yeah,
no, 100%. So, as an example, the VP of our company, it's funny, we just had this conversation yesterday at a round table. The VP of our company was talking about, quote unquote, the good old days. The good old days of square shingles was $12, right? Now a square shingles, just about any manufacturer, is as high as $92 a square. Wow. So again, talking about the raises and the increases that I've seen from last year to even this year, and going up another 18%, getting us to the point we're at now. I want to say things will level out in 2022, right? I want to be able to say that. That's with the hope and understanding that manufacturers still run full steam ahead as they are right now. They get caught up as far as their overall production, and then we start having a surplus of material, which right now we just don't have. If you go into some of these yards, and I'm talking to any distributor, you may see, one manufacturer or another that they may have a good bit of, but nobody has ample amount of shingles as we did 3-4 years ago.
Wow. So one more question.
Just to give you an example.
I actually got two more questions, but one of those questions, to add to that, during the slow times, do manufacturers have they said anything about slowing down on their production, or they're going to just keep going full force? Because I understand that sometimes they shut down for maintenance purposes or whatever. So is that the case here, given the situation?
Have to. Yeah, no, they have to. Like you don't. It's like anything, right? You don't run a car into the ground because you're trying to get from one place to another. You still have to stop and change its oil and all that kind of business. And this is very much the same. That said, they are going to run as much as they can, as fast as they can. And to go back, colors are probably, we're probably going to have more trouble as we have in the past with colors, your hickories, some of your different shades of black or colonial slates, that you got a really complex color mixture. Some of those are going to be a little bit tougher to come by for a while, but your standard colors, your grays, your blacks, your weatherwoods, that's kind of what manufacturers are really focusing on. So
speaking of colors, I've heard that even the caulk that is shortage of colors in that realm too. Is that true?
That's true.
Yeah, Rob was talking caulking, right?
Exactly.
Okay, good. Yeah, he kind of caught me off guard right there. I said, "This is a family show. This is a family show, Rob."
Contractor humor. Everybody knew that we were talking about caulking.
No, I did not. My head snapped back real quick.
No, all right, go ahead. I mean, so you talk about accessories, right? Underlayment, same thing, right? You used to be able to get synthetic underlayment in 10 weeks max. Now I'm pushed out 24 to 28 weeks. Nails, to go back to fasteners, screws, plates, nails. A lot of those, you talk about the ports that are jammed up. They're in those containers, so you have longer lead times there. And then caulking of all colors, clear or otherwise, same thing. And that's more of a shipping situation than a manufacturing situation,
right?
Because a lot of that stuff we actually bring into the country. So we're relying on those ships that take months and months and months to get here to be able to make that happen, and it's just taking longer than it ever has.
Right.
I think the good thing about all this though is, this has happened across not just our industry but every industry in America right now. So
sure.
When I'm out talking to customers and I explain to them the situation, they're always like, I understand, I know. It's happening in my world too. So we really, I know this is terrible, but I think everybody's kind of gotten used to it by this point.
Well, and that's, it's the nature of the beast, right? Supply and demand and all that kind of business. But it's painful.
So on your end, we're always talking about our pain points, right? On your end,
yeah.
I mean, what are you guys doing? I mean, you're probably sitting there wanting to sell more product and not getting an opportunity to.
So some of it, is we sell what we're able to sell, right? So I may not necessarily have this particular color, this particular flavor, but I have this, right? Just having as many options available as possible, because until we come out of this, I mean, unfortunately, it's gonna come down to what it is we actually have available, and so
I guess people are just buying everything you have then.
Exactly. I mean, and that's, I hate to say it. I mean, there are being manufacturer specific in this particular climate is tough, and that's one thing that I think everyone can appreciate is you are struggling in several different areas to try to have whatever an individual wants, whatever a customer wants, and that goes for y'all as well.
Yeah, and I know the manufacturers have kind of eased up on saying you got to have my product on every facet of the roof. I mean, so there's been some flexibility on their end too to help accommodate everybody. You think that's going to become a norm, or you think they're going to draw that back in?
I think it will. I really do. I think that's going to be something that sticks around for a while. I mean, because they've I don't know it's going to be the norm, quote unquote, but I think until we come out of this shortage, which, it's not, it could be it. From what I understand, talking to manufacturers, same thing. It could be the middle or end of 2022 before we are, I don't want to say back to quote unquote normal. I think you kind of have a new norm as far as all this goes, but
so
it's going to be a while before they require you to have X amount of components to complete a system.
So it looks like we're going to all get to go hunting quite a bit this winter. So that's a good thing about this.
For those that hunt and those that have actual rifles with really nice scopes and so forth.
I know where a few are.
I don't know why you would open that can of worms. But no, so
Rob,
I think there will still be a ton of work done this winter, just because there is a backlog of work for certain business entities, but at the same time, I think that some of that will end up pushing into 2022, just because we're still going to be dealing with some of these challenges and shortages.
It almost seems like, if you think about it, it almost seems not impossible, but how do you get caught up if you just keep stacking it up?
Yeah. What are y'all talking about, in regards to the inventory practices that y'all are doing? Are y'all doing anything different? Are y'all doing anything to try to be prepared for the next roofpocalypse? I don't know. I mean, it could even get worse. I don't know.
Sure. No. So what right now, what we're trying to do, and this is as a company, we are trying to, like you said, sell everything that we have. Right. We want to lower our inventory as much as possible, so that as this thing does start to tick back up, we can buy as much as possible. And I'm talking on the comp side. The commercial side is it's going to be hairy for a while. And I mean, just the chain of events, just some may know and some may not. The comp side went on allocation first. They were the first ones to say, hey, we're going to be short on all of this material and all of these items. And then months later, if I had to put a number on it, I want to say 6 to 7 months later, then you had the commercial side, all manufacturers, John Manville, GAF, Versaco, Genflex, everybody said, yeah, we are very quickly running out of commercial material. So my thought is that it's probably going to go back the other direction. You're gonna start to see more comp shingles available at your local distribution house, and then hopefully 6-7 months down the road, the commercial side will do the same thing.
Okay, all right. Well, Rob, do you have any more further questions for Mr. James Russel?
I think I'm good.
All right, James, we appreciate you being on the show and spending some time and kind of explaining the crisis or the issues that we're coming up with on the supply side.
Sure.
You're with Southern Shingles. Let people know how they can reach you if they want to ask questions or whatever. Where can they reach you?
Southern Shingles or SRS Distribution is the company. If you want to send me an email, it's jrussell, 2 S's, 2 L's, @southernshingles.com. The rest of my social media is personal. I don't want to get in any trouble. So
right. No, we don't.
But sincerely, feel free. If you have any questions, concerns, shoot me an email. Gentlemen, really, I truly appreciate your time. And again, I value your partnership and look forward to going hunting this winter.
Awesome. Well, we want to give it up to James. He's got to go. And James, again, we appreciate your time coming out here and visiting with us.
Take care.
All right, brother.
All right,
thank you.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So, Rob, that was what's your thoughts on everything that was discussed?
I mean, I think, like I said earlier in the call, everyone has this has become the norm in the industry and norm in everyone's industry. So I think we're all kind of getting used to this situation. But it's good to walk through it, understand it, and, now everybody kind of gets a better idea of what's going on. And hopefully we'll all just keep moving forward and get out of this situation.
Yeah, I always try to see the silver lining in things when it comes to life in general. But in business, I think what the silver lining or the positive is, I don't want to say it's really positive, but all the kind of like the bad contractors may not survive. They might fall off, and so only the strong survive, and so maybe that's a plus. I don't know. Hopefully we're one of those strong companies that survive. I think we've done really well this year. So I don't know, Rob, or what do you think? I mean,
I think it's gonna help everyone to regroup. It's gonna make all the contractors that stay in business, they're gonna become stronger because of this. They're gonna look at the way they order material differently in the future. It's gonna be beneficial to us, to the suppliers, to the building owners at the end of the day. But everybody's gonna go through some pain right now. But in the end, it's gonna be better for all.
Yeah, it's just like I said, and I tell future customers or our current customers, listen, we're all going through this together, and unfortunately, when it comes to money, it's always about money and the bottom line. And they always say, well, is it really going up? It is. The pricing, it's a reality that we all have to face, and unfortunately, we have to pass those costs down to the customers. So, we would love to not charge as much, and we could do more roofs, but this is the reality that we're in today. So, and if you're thinking about putting a roof, or if something, we have a major storm, don't wait. and try to gamble and say, hey, you know, maybe it'll get cheaper in the future. No, you know, they said, James just mentioned the good old days. Those good old days also include the pricing of those materials. So, you know, bottom line, you know, we're just gonna have to work through and pull through this situation. But I think we'll survive. We'll be good, especially if we keep on doing podcasts. I mean, I want to try to get 1 million subscribers. All y'all out there, if y'all can help us out, get 1 million subscribers, and we can be up there with Joe Rogan, right?
Let's hope.
Unless we do. No, that's not the right. There you go. So, all right. Well, Rob, how was your week?
My week, it's midweek right now. It's not over yet, but things are moving along as usual. Nothing out of the ordinary.
You know, me and Rob went hunting on Saturday over the weekend. And it was hot.
Really
and
hot.
It was so hot that there was no animals out there. I mean, we saw a couple of piggies. Oh, Rob, man, this dude almost killed me. We're in his little mule, and we're driving down this little pathway. I see a skunk. I went like this. He pushed the brakes. I almost flew out of the dang mule. So, and then to add insult to injury, I'm helping him put corn in the back of this mule, and the mule is backing up onto me. He didn't put the brake, and then he throws a bag of corn in my hand. I'm like, man, I'm getting hurt just being around you, man. So
you gotta be tough to go hunting. This is not,
it's not for the faint of heart, man.
No.
But yeah, hopefully we might do some hunting. I don't know what Rob has in store for me as far as big trips. He always promises me that he's going to take me to go get some. What's that real? Didn't you mention some kind of deer or something that we're?
Oh, we were talking about going down to South Texas and.
Yeah, what kind of animal is that?
A nilgai.
A nilgai. See, I'm a city slicker, so I've never heard of that. A nilgai.
Yep, we're gonna show you what they look like.
All right, and how they taste, because we do kill and we do eat what we kill, right?
That's right.
All right, except skunks.
Stay away from that.
Right. All right. Well, I hope this podcast was a little bit better than the last. I feel like it is. I feel good.
That's all because we brought James on.
Yeah, you know, but no, I got some rest. I actually, you know, woke up early. I was ready to go. You know, I kind of had some things that I wanted to say. And, of course, I wanted to apologize to everyone for last podcast. But, you know, as like I said, as we continue on doing this, you know, we'll get better and a little bit more entertaining, hopefully. But, yeah, on the next podcast, you know, the topic we're going to go over the thermal roof surveys, you know, and what we do with those and how that's beneficial to our customers, and we provide that as a free service. There's not too many companies like us that do that, and it's really important if you have a roof and you don't have a clue on the condition. It's vital to make important decisions whether you need to replace it or, you know, repair. So it's there. We'll talk about that on the next podcast. But Rob, is there anything that you wanted to add?
No, I think we're good. Let's end this on a high note.
On a high note?
Yeah.
I don't know how would I end it on a high note?
Well, just end it.
That's a high note. All right, all y'all. We'll get out of your hair, but this is the roofing podcast. Hey, that name, my wife says that's a crazy name. She goes, I said, but it kind of sounds like a dog. She goes, you should do it like a dog. So it's her idea that I go roof, roof, roof. Where my dog's at? Anyways, you can reach us at infocompassroofing.com, at compassroofing.com, or you can reach out to us directly at 817-349-3129 if you have any questions or you want us to go look at your facility or you want to take us out to eat? No. But yeah, that's how you reach us. So Rob, I hope this podcast you feel a little bit more loose. Are you good?
Yeah,
all right, man. So, we just want to say thank you to all y'all viewing and listeners, and we're out of here. See ya. Peace.